10th. Love it. We love that Leo energy here. That said, my friends, why don't we get started? And just a reminder, let's do it right now. Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. I'm the Grace Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Wednesday, September 18th, 2024. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? May I please have the first 5 cards in our 5-card spread? First card we are starting our day off with today is Knight of Pentacles in its reversal. This is going to be having a different impact on masculine and feminine energy. Bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. We see, I'm telling you right now, I know that this season, this cycle right now, it's emotional. We just had, last night, we had that Pisces partial, we had a Pisces full moon, a partial lunar eclipse. We've just started eclipse season. There's a lot of energetic unpacking that is occurring right now. And a lot of this is allowing for space for the new to come in, right? Some of this work that we're seeing right now, shedding what feels like it doesn't energetically serve. A lot of austerity potentially coming in right now to the collective, especially because we're experiencing a lot of this during Virgo season. Now, one of the things that we see that is happening right now is this is having a different impact on masculine and feminine energy. Bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. We've been talking a lot about how the energy deep within divine union is doing a lot of that inner child healing. That inner child healing is rough stuff. It's rocky terrain. It's not easy to do inner child healing because often you have to recognize that when we come into the space of inner child healing, it usually starts with an apology. It usually starts with an apology to the self, because when we come into the inner child healing, the major message that we're saying to any experience of the self that we are now trying to take that accountability for is usually that energy of saying either I'm going to protect you better and I'm sorry I let you down. Masculine and feminine energy doing that work right now. It's frustrating, right? If this is masculine energy that is learning to re-inhabit that sense of play, allowing oneself to come back into the modality of the student by remembering the difference between what is childish versus childlike, that nature of the child that feels like it is self-serving, that doesn't feel like it is attentive or compassionate to those around you. That is what we mean about abandoning that part of the child that doesn't feel like it serves that higher energetic self. Whereas this is a lot of the masculine energy that's reclaiming that childlike nature, that sense of joy, that sense of wonderment, that sense of delight, the ability to even feel silly as one learns, recognizing and identifying like that sense of bringing back, like reclaiming that for themselves. And for a lot of this energy, in the process of doing this, it's requiring a lot of navigating of the energy around you that may have like caused you to have to shed that point of that feeling of something that was vital within yourself in the first place, right? Like this is that modality here that we see that some of that is that pushback. Now for masculine, a lot of that is, again, we talked about this yesterday. If this is masculine coming back into their childlike nature and someone is like being critical or harsh to them, there's a little bit of this response that the masculine's having and not being reactive, but almost being inquisitive and saying, why don't you like fun? Why don't you like joy? It like almost like coming into that state of curiosity. This is how the masculine energy right now is working to, again, protect the inner child, because that's almost that masculine energy that like is being very conscientious in creating an environment for that inner child that allows for that sense of curiosity to flourish. So when we're trying to get in that space of allowing that curiosity to flourish, we don't get resistant when we feel that inflexibility. We bring more of that curiosity forth. So there's a lot of the energy right now, the masculine, that is getting introspective, that is getting curious in spaces or places where they may have initially just been very firm. For feminine, we see that this is the feminine doing the exact opposite. Because if this is feminine that is working on healing the inner child that felt like they had to serve everyone around them instead of the self, that is working through removing those experiences or reclaiming a part of the self that was lost in the message of someone telling or insisting that the feminine energy had to be, it was better to be liked than to be right. That we see that a lot of this feminine energy is coming into that modality, that they're feeling like they're getting much more hard. They're getting much more resistant. They're building more of that thick skin around themselves. Because if this is the energy that is throwing stones at the feminine as they're trying to focus, this is almost the feminine trying to call them out on that. And almost again, navigating that with curiosity, which is like, why are you trying to energetically distract me? Why are you coming into that modality that seeing me energetically focus, you're taking personally? This is a lot of that energy and this is why it was so important and vital. We kept saying over and over and over again during that retrograde period, insisting and saying, make sure that you don't take things personally. Make sure that you get practical. Make sure that you get creative. Make sure that you get productive. Because this is the energy right now that is utilizing that same pathwork and recognizing the manifestation that they're now bringing outward, which is almost the energy saying, if I'm not taking something personally, then neither can the energy around me. Masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union right now. This is a lot of energy right now that is getting more sensitive about the energy outside of the energetic union. We were seeing this yesterday. A little bit of that anxiety, a little bit of that sensitivity, that heightened sensitivity. This is some very thin-skinned energy that we're seeing right now. This is a lot of that work that we're seeing. We've already got the second card flying out. I'm just going to put that there. We're seeing a lot of this energy that is going through a mentality right now where something that didn't bother them suddenly is. And this is a lot of the energy that's recognizing and realizing that if the way that they're feeling about someone is something that they haven't felt before, then they can't necessarily anticipate how they'll feel. So this is a lot of the energy right now coming into divine union, trying to unpack to someone something that didn't used to bother them in the past, it suddenly is. But at the same time, trying to articulate that that's not a fickleness that's occurring, but more the intensity of the expression of the surprise that someone is having as they navigate a situation or circumstance that they haven't experienced before in a new way. Masculine and feminine energy right now, and it's requiring a lot of delicacy. It's requiring the ability of not reacting to how one is feeling, but articulating through it. Because especially for some of that energy, I'm seeing that these are conversations that are requiring recalibration. For masculine and feminine energy right now, that is deep, masculine and feminine energy right now that is in separation, this is a lot of the energy right now that is doing something in different ways, because a lot of the energy I see in separation, it's not that something has changed around you. You're recognizing it's your perception of it. I see a lot of this energy right now that is going into that modality of contemplation, like really walking away from something and saying, you know what, a past version of me would have thought that that was romantic. Now I don't find that romantic. A part of me, like that past version of self, I see some energy in separation going, a past version of myself would have found that in like charming. Now I just find it boring. Like a lot of this energy right now is going through that modality of comparing the past self with the present self. And it's almost from a state of wonder, because again, a good manifestation will change you before you receive it. And we see even now that that's a lot of that energy that's experiencing and recognizing that. And in a way, they feel like that's the arrival of their manifestation, because recognizing that that's the manifestation setting in. This is the energy being like, yeah, I'm no longer working towards a manifestation. This is a manifestation that's become integral and a part of my own energetic etheric person. Second card in our 5-card spread for today. We've got here our 2 of Pentacles. Now for the energy coming into divine union right now that's experiencing that, and this is what we talked about, there's some energy in separation that like is getting the ick on something that they used to feel compelled towards. So that's like kind of a hallelujah moment that's happening for some of that energy, because this is the energy that's almost looking and going, I can't go back. The manifestation has changed me. I can't go back. I'm no longer that person. I no longer accept those things. So how can you, like, again, this is the energy that's recognizing what it's taking to move towards their manifestations, because they're seeing the fact that their own preferences are changing in the process. Masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union right now. This is the energy having those delicate conversations. This is the energy trying to find a way to unpack, especially if there's something that you used to be comfortable with, or you didn't bring up when you first entered into the divine union, but you were also in a state that you couldn't anticipate feeling this way because you've never felt this way before. This is more of that energy that, again, it's not just the ability to articulate upon something that one is feeling, but almost having to unpack it. And the benefit here is we see that for a lot of that energy, being able to unpack something that you are just discovering, that is like a bit of that gift, because this is the energy that is recognizing that not only are they coming closer together into the space of intimacy, but they're recognizing and they're feeling the transformations that are happening within the self in the process of coming into that union. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, deep within divine union, this is the energy that's basically, again, this is masculine and feminine that have integrated to such an extent that they're taking pages from one another's books. They're doing things in ways that are reflective of the characteristics and qualities of the counterpart energy, which is why, again, if this is masculine, that's feeling more creative, feeling less like worried about putting on a strong face, but more of that ability of feeling silly, becoming the energetic student, allowing oneself to move towards the spaces of delight. If there's energy around them that's like picking at them or like, like poking fun, even here, the ability of the masculine to just shrug that off, to not take it personally, to almost like allow for that same sense of play to pervade those same circumstances or situations. We basically see that even here, this is a masculine that's seeing how much they've changed already and something that they're becoming more comfortable in doing, coming out of their comfort zone. If this is feminine energy that is coming into, that is working through this, if this is feminine energy that's getting stronger, working on their focus, not allowing oneself to feel energetically bad in relationality to working and prioritizing, if this is energy that, again, is taking it personally while in the presence of feminine that's trying to focus, this is a lot of that feminine energy that's not taking it internally and being like, why does this bother you? Like, why are you taking something? Like, don't take it personally, because that is the energy of the feminine that's working on, again, taking that lesson from the masculine, which is that affirmation of saying that if you're moving in a pathwork of purpose, you better be ready to disappoint energy around you in the process. Third card in our 5-card spread for today is, look at this. I told you this is a lot of the success metric for a lot of this energy moving deep within divine union right now, because this is the energy that's teaching themselves to feel comfort in discomfort. This is the deeper energy. This is a deeper lesson behind this lesson. Being able to feel comfortable at a point of discomfort is the sign of being able to depart from one's comfort zone. The ability to depart from one's comfort zone means that you're not myopic, because that means that you don't just move towards something because it feels easy. You challenge yourself to experience something from all facets, even if it's difficult, because that is what we do in the pursuit of truth and understanding. So even by moving in this way, we see that there is a deeper understanding of the self that is occurring in the process. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, deep with it coming into divine union, this is that energy that is trying to articulate about the fact that they're coming so close right now into energetic union that they're suddenly feeling sensitive about something that they haven't felt before. They didn't have a sensitivity to, because this is the energy that recognizes and realizes that they're feeling themselves transforming in the process of coming into union, because the capacity through which they are feeling vulnerable, the ability to be their most authentic self, it's activating parts of themselves that they didn't even realize were desensitized. And if these were energies that are healing from relationships or situations that require disassociation in order to maintain the relationship or the partnership, this activation point, this is almost the energy being like, I've never felt like this before. And this is the energy being like, I've never felt like this before, but not saying it in a bad way, saying it in a way of like, almost like, again, the surprise, because this is the energy that's like feeling the safety and security of feeling their feelings in an environment where it feels like they are expanding. It feels like they're getting to kind of like, again, they're dropping their bags and they're getting to like really kind of like, be their most authentic sense of self. And as long as you're not subjecting another to one's emotions, but allowing oneself to feel it, there's a lot of heightened sensitivity. But that's also why it's really important right now that you talk about that you express that is occurring and you don't just react to it. Because again, that is the difference of the sensitivity that leads to an energetic breakthrough versus the sensitivity that requires like that anxiety point that creates a breakdown. While for masculine and feminine energy right now in separation, this is the energy that's like moving forward in a way that they haven't before. This is a lot of the energy that's like saying to themselves, I've never felt this way before. And this is a lot of this energy. I even said, if this is the energy that's fed up, this is the energy that's making changes, like making tangible changes in the process. Because again, Sometimes an affirmation will get you to where you need. Oftentimes the affirmation isn't enough. Sometimes you got to get, like I'm getting even now, there's like, this is what we mean by Kundalini activation. Sometimes you got to get ferocious and fed up about something to really engage and enact upon that energetic change. And we're seeing even now with this eclipse season, I just keep seeing a lot of things coming apart, and in the process, remembering, like almost allowing some of that to occur, because sometimes, like again, something needs to come down before something new comes up. And I see even now that for some of that energy, experiencing something that would have created a breakdown or would have created a devastation moment in the past, and just being like, like just frustrated, like just like annoyed by it. Like this is a lot of the energy that's recognizing and feeling the strength of the self that isn't taking the external circumstances internally, personally. That's allowing for a lot of that just to be the modality of moving with greater easement into what feels like it'll work better going forward. This is a lot of that like no nonsense practicality entering for a lot of the energy and separation. Fourth card in our 5-card spread for today, almost flying off the table and almost in its transverse position, is Knight of Swords in its reversal. Now we've got double knights out and they're both in its reversal. It's unstable energy. I'm going to be complete. I'm not surprised about this. This is full moon hangover time. There's a lot. It's like I told you, thin skin right now. This is different. This is different work for masculine and feminine right now. These energies, and I have to stress this, these energies are doing the same energetic work in lessons, but it is pulling out different qualities and characteristics in the counterpart energy in the process. Bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. Now, masculine energy, a lot of this work that we're seeing that's required right now in relationality to moving away from what doesn't feel like it is serving you, is holding that space in not taking something energetically personally. There's a lot of this energy right now of masculine, and I see it even now, that if these were situations where, again, and I can see it because if this is energy of masculine that tried to move towards feminine from a place of deep healing, articulating both how they energetically feel, also speaking towards the manifestation goals. And if there was something about the feminine not being able to match and meet the masculine in that modality, the experience of the masculine not taking that personally, reaffirming and saying to themselves, taking again some of the messages that we've seen recently or previously that the feminine were utilizing in their mantra work, which is again, I prioritize the energy that prioritizes me. I choose the energy that chooses me. That is a lot of the masculine energy that recognizes the value and power of co-creating with someone that desires the same things as you, versus that feeling of dragging someone, we've all been there, dragging someone towards our manifestation goal and feeling like it's like you're taking, they don't feel like they're skipping there joyfully. They're acting like you're dragging them to the dentist office in the process. And so this is a lot of that masculine energy. It's like, I'm not going to take it personally if someone doesn't want the same things as me. I'm just going to let that amplify and drive me forward. While for feminine energy right now, this is a lot of the feminine energy. This is why this is why it's less emotional for the feminine, and it's more of the feminine getting a little bit more frustrated, because this is the feminine. If this is feminine that articulated to masculine from a place of saying both, again, being able to articulate upon their manifestation goal and also saying how they feel, but masculine was not able to do that, was being like, again, and this is why this is so hard for feminine when they experience that from masculine. This is the frustration of the feminine going, I can't tell if that person was scared or scary. I can't tell if that person was scared or scary, because when masculine energy isn't able to articulate their manifestation goals to feminine, feminine can't tell if that is an energy that is too afraid to speak about what they dream, or if someone's dreams are so horrible that they feel like they cannot share them with the feminine. So that's why the feminine is like, doesn't matter. The same energetic outcome either way, which is confusion. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, coming into divine union, this is a lot of that energy trying to wrestle with the heightened sensitivity. And that's why I'm saying even now, if you're experiencing that, make sure that you're not subjecting someone to your new emotional sensitivity. Make sure that you're walking them through it. Make sure that you're energetically unpacking it together. Masculine and feminine having this energy experience. And I see even now, it may have to do with the proximity of energy close or associated to the energy within the divine union, because these energies, as they grow closer, their sensitivity in relationality to what exists outside of one another, it's picking up. It's like that activation. It's that activation energy of sensitivity. And we see even now, like, that's that moment that it's like, I need to talk to you about something, but I'm also not exactly sure what's happening. Right? It's like that moment of having to say to someone, I need to talk to you about something, but I'm also like, I am also new to this. This is something that is new to me. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, deep within divine union, this is the doubting of the self in the process. This is the inner child healing. And this is the energy of both masculine and feminine speaking towards that inner child. And if this is the masculine that's only now coming back into that sense of remembering that it's okay, you can be both masculine and childlike. That being masculine does not require you to put away childish things. It just requires you to hold the responsibility of maturity while embracing the childlike qualities and characteristics of wonder and joy and delight. This is a lot of the masculine picking back up those past things and saying to themselves to a certain extent, hey, I'm sorry I left you here for a while. I'm back now. While for feminine, if these are and I'm not gonna ditch you again, right? While for feminine energy, if these are modalities where again you're building into that sense of intensity, you're building into that sense of strength. This is a lot of the feminine energy that's healing the inner child in the process, because they're looking at the past version of self and saying, I know somebody told you that it was better to be nice than right. That was garbage. Like, that's the energy going, that was garbage. I'm sorry. I'm not going to let them. That was energy that wanted you vulnerable. And this is the energy saying, I'm not going to let you have to be vulnerable in order to feel like that, like your vulnerability is a necessity in you being cared for. While for the fifth card in our 5-card spread for today, we have here our Tower in its reversal. If this card looks familiar, it is because we drew it as the last card in our spread yesterday. So we are seeing that this is a continuation of yesterday's spread with clarification of the final card in the same position that we received here as well. So for masculine and feminine energy, I keep seeing that this is pathwork of appeasement. This is pathwork of deep quantum healing that's occurring for those who are deep within the divine union frequency, because this ability of stepping out of your comfort zone, we see even now that that's a lot of that energy that is having a bit of that, so I want to say, like, this is like soul recall to a certain extent. And that ability of doing something in a different way is both healing the self and the inner child in the process. Masculine and feminine energy right now, that is coming into divine union. This is a little bit more fraught, because we see even now that for all of this energy that is coming through that work, that is doing this right now, that surprise, that moment of energetic surprise that we see that is occurring is a direct result of the energy that is suddenly realizing that their capacity for caring for a counterpart is so unique in some of these experiences that if these were situations and circumstances wherein, again, they were disassociating in the past connections for the sake, like if these are energies that are healing, the trust vector, the sense of recognizing that you didn't care about something in the past because you were effectively disassociating from it. And suddenly you feel this heightened sensitivity, the ability to articulate to someone and say, I know I didn't express this before, but I've never felt like this before. The ability to articulate through that instead of reacting to it is going to effectively allow this to be a breakthrough instead of a breakdown. But I'm saying this really important. Make sure that that is a breakthrough and not a breakdown, because if you just react, if you just have that emotional blow up that becomes that moment of subjecting another to it, this could create a lot of friction. This could create a lot of conflict right now. While for masculine and feminine energy right now that is in separation, I see a lot of peace. I see a lot of peace that's coming through for the energy in separation. There is energy right now that is recognizing and feeling the affirmation of moving in the right direction right now, because again, something that would have energetically devastated them, they've made peace with. It doesn't bother them anymore. And the ability to feel something to such a degree that it doesn't bother oneself. This isn't the energy that feels like they're disassociating, right? Because the energy's frustrated. They're feeling something different. They're feeling something different. So it feels more like that energy that has gotten stronger, because it's that moment of something that would have knocked you down in the past. It's like it just hits you and you're like, you know, like that's like that's that moment where it's like, you know, it stings, but it doesn't destabilize. And that's the energy that's recognizing or feeling like they're getting stronger as they move towards their manifestation goal. Continuing to get clarification between our Knight of Pentacles and its reversal in combination with our Two of Pentacles in its upright. One card to clarify. Clarification coming through right now with, this is the Ace of Pentacles. I see like a lot of this energy. This is like Rocky Balboa energy that I'm getting here for the energy in separation. This is like the energy in separation that's just like, you know, there's a little bit of this sense of like looking at, I want to say there's some energy right now in separation, like looking at their self within like a sense of surprise and being like, oh, I've got, like, that's not a desensitivity. That is a strength. This is the energy that's feeling the gift of the manifestation that is creating that sense of strength, because this is the energy that as they're focusing towards their manifestation goals, anything that is not the manifestation goal, it doesn't hurt as much. Because this, I told you, the difference for a lot of the energy and separation that's happening right now, if these are experiences in the past where someone was like, look guys, I found my manifestation. Ow! Oh my God, why'd you bite me? You shouldn't do that. You're my manifestation. Manifestations don't bite. Ow, why'd you bite me again? I don't know what's wrong with my manifestation. Maybe I need to train the manifestation. Maybe I need to teach the manifestation how to be the manifestation. This is a lot of the energy and separation that's having the breakthrough point and being like, this isn't my manifestation. Like, my manifestation wouldn't do that. And so this is the energy that in the process of doing that, like that's not the energy like sitting there being like, I don't know why my manifestation isn't acting like my manifestation. This is the energy being like, that's not my manifestation. And so that's allowing for that sense of energetic strength, because that is the sense of feeling the power of knowing what it is that you're looking for. How are you going to miss it? This is the energy going, I'm not going to miss what's for me because I'm me. If you're you, how are you going to miss what's for you? You know what's for you. So this is a lot of that energy that's like holding firm in that way. And that feeling of strength is a lot of that energy, recognizing the changes within the self and being like, oh, I'm already in my manifestation because I've become the person that can inhabit the thing that I'm desiring to move towards. While for masculine and feminine energy coming into manifestation, coming into the divine union, a lot of this energy has to present something now into the counterpart that wasn't there before. That's the difficulty here. I can see this. There's a lot of energy right now that is having to present something to the energy within divine union that wasn't necessarily there when they first tried to come towards someone. And if these are modalities of doing so, there's a lot, like, this is what I mean. Like, this could be something that is a very deep, beautiful conversation if it is carried in a way of being able to articulate that someone recognizes that they're changing in ways because of the power of love that they did not anticipate. That's why it's really important that you keep vulnerability when you're having those conversations, because if not, someone's going to look at you and be like, what's gotten into you? Because you're acting all cuckoo bananas over something that probably didn't bother you before, and you're like, I don't know, and you're not able to explain it. Like, being able to really sit down and process and articulate it from a place of saying, I am also just discovering this part of the self because I recognize that I am changing in the process of being in energetic connection with you. We see even now, like, that can be the bridge. That can be bridge building material. That can be gold, so long as you carry it in such a way that you recognize its intrinsic beauty and value. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, that is deep within divine union, this is the energy, I just keep getting soul recall. There's energy here that is recognizing that their ability to do something in ways that they haven't done anything before is how they're healing the inner child, because that is the affirmation of the energy looking back on something with regret, potentially something that they feel like they lost deep within childhood, or something that they felt like they had to energetically move away from. And this is the energy saying, I'm sorry, I'm never going to do that to you again. continuing to get clarification between our Two of Pentacles in combination with our Nine of Wands in its reversal. One card to clarify. Clarification coming through right now with the Knight of Cups in its reversal. Holy moly. We got 3 Knight cards. Okay, listen to me, my friends. We got 3 of the 4 Knight cards out today, and they're all in their reversals. So remember what we said yesterday? I'm going to say it again. Yesterday, we said that yesterday was the day you had to baby yourself. Don't act like a baby to others if you're feeling sensitive. Baby yourself. It's okay. If you're feeling like a little bit sensitive, baby yourself. Don't act like a baby to those around you. Unless somebody's okay with you acting like baby to them. Because I see even here that there's so much of this energy right now that is going through this, and it's and I told you it's that delicate inner child work, and delicate inner child work can be volatile as all get out, because inner child work often is dealing with the unhealed inner child, right? So, and it is having a different impact for masculine and feminine. I see a lot of masculine right now that's moving forward on their journey, and they're feeling very emotionally sensitive. I can see a lot of masculine feeling like an open wound right now. You know, I can see a lot of masculine that feel like I have this. This is like a little bit of Charlie Brown energy. There's a little bit of this like Charlie Brown energy with this. This is like, you know, with their head down. Like this is the Eeyore energy that I was picking up yesterday. You know, like nothing I do is good enough. Nobody likes me. Nobody wants to play ball with me. I have no friends. Like it's giving a lot of this type of energy here. Remember, masculine, if you're feeling like that, were you feeling like that a week ago? Or is this happening this week? Are you noticing that suddenly we have a full moon in Pisces and you're feeling a little like a wet blanket? Is the full moon in Pisces making you feel like a little, it's making I gotta tell you, it's making everybody feel like a wet blanket. It's making everybody feel like a wet blanket. The thing with the feminine right now, it's the wet blanket the feminine is really desperate to get off of them. This is the feminine going, this is itchy, I don't like it. I don't like getting on my skin. Like this is the feminine energy, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to, being more like, get this off me, it's gross. Boys are gross, men are gross, I don't want anything. This is the feminine. This is the feminine getting into the inner child going, boys are gross, like men are gross, masculine energy's gross, they're all the same, nothing ever changes, I'm sick of it. So you see even now, do you see how both of these energies are inhabiting the same exact energetic signature and they're experiencing it in different ways? You know, it's like masculine's experiencing it like Charlie Brown right now. Feminine's experiencing it like Peppermint Patty. Like that's the best way I can describe it to a certain extent. And everybody's acting like a little baby. Okay? So baby yourself right now. The energy in separation, I'm telling you even now, like there's a lot of energy right now that's basically like on the cusp of coming into new energetic connections. But it's going to be kind of like, it's really going to be energy that's going to be like, I am sick of this place. I hate it here. Do you want to go somewhere? Sure. Because it's that kind of energy. It's like the fed up energy that immediately clicks. Because again, what is the energy that's fed up doing? I'll tell you what they're not doing. There's no pretense there. This is the energy that is fed up with pretense. This is the energy that has stopped being polite and is now moving towards energetic connections, being real. This is the energy that is sick of putting up the false mask of the false self. This is the energy that when they say, I'm sick and tired of this, this is the energy that's basically saying, I'm just going to be my full authentic sense of self. And if that sends someone away, good riddance, because I didn't want them here to begin with. So we see even now like a lot of that energy in separation. There's a vulnerability here, but there's also a lot of truth. There's a lot of authenticity that is coming in some of these new energetic connections that are about to form or forming. Masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union right now. This is delicate. This is having to apologize to someone. This is someone saying, I'm sorry I didn't bring this up sooner, but I didn't feel like this before. I like there's a little bit of this is a lot of that energy that again is vulnerable. And so I see even now, like if there's a heightened sensitivity that's happening around something, and I'm going to tell you right now, the ability to unpack it instead of throwing it at someone like a projectile is going to make all the difference as to some energy right now building into the heart of intimacy by looking at something carefully, like being like, look what I found. Oh, what's that? And really exploring it versus someone being like, ah, and throwing it, like throwing it at someone and being like, what did you just do? What was that? You know, like you just scared the crap out of me. So we see even now, like that's a lot of that sense of, again, working through that gentle, delicate, wonderful surprise, as opposed to being like, ah, like that awful, like what's gotten into you kind of energy. Masculine and feminine deep within divine union right now. This is very similar to the energy that I'm seeing with the energy in separation. But a lot of this energy right now, like I see that there's a lot of energy deep within divine union that is they're saying like rediscovering parts of themselves that they lost a long time ago in the process of feeling like they needed to become what they thought they needed to become in order to become a mature energetic being. There's a lot of energy right now that's doing work deep within divine union, parsing through something that they left in the past and saying, why did I have to abandon that in order to reach maturation? And so that is a moment that, again, I see here, and this is now the energy that is now experiencing the same lesson that we saw that the energy within divine, coming into divine union, was experiencing just a few days ago. If you want to catch the reading, you can find it on my YouTube channel, which is, again, the elation and devastation of rediscovering a part of yourself that you left behind, but also feeling the devastation of the fact that you've been leaving it somewhere for quite a long time in the darkness, right? This is the energy being like, I'm sorry, like the inner child being like, I am so sorry. And I can see even now, like there's a lot of apology there. If this is masculine, like rediscovering or rekindling some joy in something, or feminine, building back into that point of strength, like both of those energies building into the affirmation of saying, I'm never going to let that go again. I'm not going to let that part of me go again. Continuing to get clarification between our Nine of Wands in its reversal in combination with our Knight of Swords in its reversal. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Justice card in its reversal. And this is why this is a moment, and I can see it even here. It's very emotionally overwhelming. For masculine, there potentially is sorrow here. There's potentially, I'm getting here, that ability of coming back into that state of bliss and rediscovering the inner child there. You know, if that took a long time, you know, it is the elation and devastation of recognizing that moment, of reminding oneself that, and saying to yourself to a certain extent, becoming a masculine energy does not require you to abandon the childlike nature. It only requires you to abandon the childish nature, not the childlike nature. And this is feminine energy that's coming into that state of energetic resilience and saying, becoming that maturation of the feminine did not require you to become available to everyone or be seen as cold in the process. It was that ability of building into that point of conviction and a sense of purpose, and remembering that that sense of purpose is that passionate fire that can be spread and kindled not only for yourself but to around all of those around you. So I told you, a lot of the energy deep within divine union reclaiming themselves and feeling in the process of doing so that they're restoring an energetic balance as it relates to the imbalance within. Masculine and feminine energy right now that is coming into divine union. This is the energy that is feeling off balance right now coming into divine union. Because I told you even now, if these are modalities of masculine and feminine sitting down and saying to themselves, why am I suddenly so sensitive about something that like did not bother me before or didn't even bother me in past relationships? We see even now that there's a lot of that energy that's saying, well, that's because that past experience, I wasn't fully embodied in the experience. I was in that relationship that was requiring me to go numb. I was in that relationship that was requiring me to disassociate in order to perpetuate the partnership. So if these are energies that are now coming into divine union and they feel that ability of being their most robust, authentic version of self in the process, this is the energy that is discovering new parts of the self in the process of coming into that heightened sensitivity. While for masculine and feminine energy in separation right now, this is a lot of that energy that is just like I told you. It's feeling severely imbalanced right now in separation, because this is the energy that is being propelled forward right now in the modality of feeling like something is unfair. And if this is masculine energy that feels like that sense of trying to bring forth the feminine, both the emotions and the manifestation goal, and the feminine wasn't able to match it, this is why we see some of that Charlie Brown energy around the masculine right now, because this is the masculine that's like working through trying not to feel emotionally like sorry for the self, but reaffirming that energetic commitment of saying like, you know, it's okay to be disappointed in those moments. We can always feel disappointment if someone doesn't feel like they want to share, or they don't have the same excitement in meeting or matching us in terms of our manifestation goal. So there's a lot of that self-soothing that we see that is occurring right now for masculine energy navigating that. And even there, that is a masculine energy that's almost giving themselves a little bit of easement in the process, which is almost saying to themselves, it's okay to feel that way. It's okay to be hurt by that, because again, in a way, I almost see some masculine saying, you know, rejection hurts. You know, like that's that modality of the energy just saying, it hurts to be energetically rejected. And that's a masculine saying, but I'm not going to take that as rejection. I'm going to take that as the reaffirmation that if someone does not want the same manifestation goals as I want, that means that we cannot effectively co-create together, because it would feel more like they're moving towards me from a point of resistance instead of a point of joy. Where feminine is feeling more of the drag and the frustration, because for a lot of the feminine energy, this isn't a walking away situation. This is a breaking away from. Because if there's feminine energy here that has masculine that's trying to get them to stay around something, and the feminine is articulating and insisting that they need to see the manifestation goals and the expression of emotionality, and that emotionality is not manifestation goals. Remembering that emotions without manifestation goals are an anchor that keep you in place instead of wings that help you go somewhere. There's a lot of the feminine energy that's feeling the frustration of saying, I'm tired of masculine energy that only comes towards me for one thing. And that is the feminine saying, I am not a vessel through which the masculine can unload their emotionality. I'm not an object in the masculine's life. I'm not a static point. I should be a co-creator. I should be moving forward with them. So we see both of these energies experiencing the same frustration as it relates to the manifestation goals. And they're looking down and they're grumbling, and they're moving closer and closer together in the process of walking away from what doesn't serve them. While for masculine and feminine energy, continuing to get clarification between our Knight of Swords in combination with our Tower in its reversal. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Two of Swords in its reversal. But the important thing that we see right now for a lot of this energy and separation, it's one thing to feel frustrated, but is this energy changing their minds in relationality to the direction that they're going? Not a chance. Not a chance. We don't see a lot of this, and we don't see this energy right now turning back around and moving back towards I even see a lot of this energy being like, you know, like having that sensation of being like, maybe I should give them a piece of their mind. And then I can see the energy being like, it's not worth it. Because what's the point? Like, this is a lot of the energy saying, I don't want to feel like I have to convince someone to want the things that I want. This is the energy that's so focused on their manifestation goal that the energy is basically saying, I want someone that wants what I want, not someone I have to cajole into wanting what I want, not someone I have to convince that they want what I want. I want someone that wants it joyfully. I see the energy in separation saying joyfully or not at all, with conviction or not at all. And a lot of that energy, like that in itself, I see even now that's a lot of that breakthrough point that's potentially happening right now in a lot of the refining of the manifestation goals that are occurring for the energy in separation, because that's the energy that's almost saying, no, it's not good enough if you phone it in. No, it's not good enough if you change your mind. No, it's not good enough if you play pretend and tell me that you want the things that I want but don't really want them. This is a lot of the energy saying, I want you to want my manifestation goal too, and with the same conviction. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, this is that modality of having those conversations, because this is the energy that's looking towards someone and saying something has changed. profoundly. And I am the thing that has changed profoundly. This is the energy that's recognizing and identifying how much they're changing within the divine union. And that's why I see even now the ability to articulate upon those changes from a state of delight instead of a state of reactivity is what's going to articulate the difference. And I got to warn the energy in divine union, coming into divine union, that again, holding that from a state of like excitement is what's going to allow that to be a delightful surprise to a certain extent, saying like, listen, I've gotten super sensitive about something because I care about you so much and I'm feeling so much. I've never felt this way before. Like that is that positivity moment. Whereas again, if someone just reacts and is like acting like completely out of sorts and being like, what's gotten into you? And someone being like, I don't know. Like that is that moment that can just feel like, again, it can knock you out of divine union, because that's that moment that it feels confusing. And someone could misinterpret that and say, do you not want to do this anymore? And someone's like, no, it's not that I don't want to do this. It's that I'm changing so profoundly. I want this so much that I need to articulate that we need to change something, right? Like it's the ability of articulating and navigating the feeling and the expression of emotionality, which is why it's so important for the masculine to be able to sit within what they are feeling, and feminine not to become too energetically vulnerable. Feminine being able to be strong, masculine being able to be soft. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, deep within divine union, this is a lot of this energetic conviction of saying never again. If these are the energies that are discovering and recognizing and finding parts of themselves that they have not found before, rediscovering parts that they feel like they had to leave behind, that they're now feeling the regret or remorse for ever leaving behind, this is that energetic conviction of saying, I'm not going to do that again. Never again. And for masculine, it's like, never again am I going to abandon my joy and feel like that is a departure point, that I can't be in my masculine energetic zone while also embracing my childlike nature. While for feminine, this is the feminine saying, never again am I going to feel that in order to embrace my feminine nature, I have to be likable instead of energetically strong. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between Ace of Pentacles in its upright and our Knight of Cups in its reversal. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Seven of Wands in its upright. And this is the energy, and this is a lot of that activation, because I see even now like there's a lot of this energy that's feeling that ferocity, feeling that intensity, feeling that sense of protecting, because there's a lot of energy right now that's going deep within and pulling out that inner child, bringing it close to themselves in the process of doing this work and saying, I'm not going to let anything bad happen to you ever again. And if this is the masculine embracing their childlike nature, that's a masculine saying, I'm going to continue to recognize and say, you're with me. This guy here, this little guy, this is with me. He's with me. This guy's with me. Because this is the energy of the masculine saying that childlike nature and the masculine energy, they're not separate. They are the same. While for masculine and for feminine energy, if this is the feminine that is coming into that energetic strength point, that's holding firm on where they stand. They're not worried about disappointing energy in the process of moving towards what they know they feel their path of purpose is. This is a feminine reclaiming their own energetic inner child and saying, I'm not, you don't have to be nice to anyone. You don't need to be nice to. You don't need to be nice to anyone. Okay, if you don't want to shake their hand, you don't have to shake their hand. Like that's a lot of that energy of both of these energies becoming very protective about those parts of themselves in the process of discovering them. While for masculine and feminine energy right now that is coming into divine union, this is that prickly energy that can, again, articulating upon it, navigating through it, can really deepen an energetic connection, because it's that feeling. I see even now the energy being like, I feel the same way. But the ability to articulate on something allows for that bridge to extend in relationality of someone saying, I understand what you're talking about because I feel it too. Which is why if you're just reacting to it, That could be that confusion point. That could create that problem where problem does not exist, because that could someone be like, are you being so strange? Are you being so volatile because you don't want this anymore? And someone being like, no, it's the exact opposite reason. It's because this is so important to me. I'm getting hypersensitive about things that I wasn't hypersensitive about. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Knight of Cups in its reversal in combination with our Justice card in its reversal. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our High Priestess energy. So for feminine energy, for a lot of this, and for the energy in separation right now, I'm telling you even now, the thing that's happening that's so important and vital is the fact that this is energy right now that is moving forward into new energetic experiences with conviction. This is the energy that is not only, this is the energy that's not only saying my manifestation goal or bust. This is the energy moving forward in separation saying my manifestation goal or bust with conviction. And for feminine energy, this is the feminine energy almost saying to themselves, I can tell. This is the feminine energy right now that's remembering and feeling that affirmation of saying, I can tell. I can tell the difference energetically, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. There's a lot of the feminine energy right now in separation. It goes, I can tell the difference between someone moving towards a manifestation goal with conviction versus someone that feels like they're just giving wordplay to it. I can tell the difference between the feeling of masculine truly wanting something versus masculine feeling like they're just having to say something to be able to satisfy or appease something that I desire. This is the feminine energy building into their own intuition to a certain degree and saying, I trust myself in my own ability to tell the difference. While for masculine energy, this is the masculine energy saying, I want to move towards a feminine energy that both has the same energetic conviction as me, but is also strong enough to be able to stay focused and be able to stay clear and to be able to articulate upon what that is. Do you see how these energies are calling out to one another? They're calling out to one another in separation. They are seeking, these are the energies that are seeking one another, and they're frustrated about what they're finding. And via the ability to walk away from who they and what they know is not for them, they move closer and closer to they move closer and closer to one another in the process. For a lot of this energy right now that is coming into divine union, that's why even here, the ability of feeling that hypersensitivity and having to have that delicate conversation, this is why the energy coming into divine union feels like they already have a leg up, because if these are energies that are building into that pathwork of trust, this is the energy that feels like, again, that ability to articulate and speak towards the changes that one is feeling within. This is a lot of the masculine energy saying, I know that this is a feminine energy that can understand and build upon that sense of changing and being uncertain as to why, right? This is the masculine energy feeling the security of the serenity of the feminine that doesn't take that feeling of change personally, but is able to like deeply understand, again, the fact that they're having that conversation in relationality because of the expansion of their own emotional state in relationality to the level of care they feel towards the feminine. While for a lot of the feminine energy that's experiencing that is the feminine that is long, again, articulating to the masculine. So long as we don't subject one another to our emotions, but articulate through them, there's nothing that we cannot accomplish, because that's that modality of feeling that sense of being in alignment that allows all of those emotions to build a bridge. Because as long as you're focused on coming into resolution, everything becomes energetically easier. For masculine and feminine energy right now, deep within divine union, I just see that a lot of this work right now, deep within divine union, is restorational. It's foundational. It's a little bit, I want to say it's a little bit more difficult for masculine right now than feminine. Because I can see even now that for the masculine energy, potentially unpacking either unpacking those experiences in the past, like going through some of those experiences that made you feel like you had to walk away from your unhealed inner child, or experiencing some of that energy around you right now, potentially feeling energetically triggered as you try to do something and feeling a little bit of that energy of the unhealed masculine around you that's like being like a little too tough about something because they're afraid to be energetically sensitive in the same way. Like this is requiring for masculine, it's requiring that sense of becoming more vulnerable at a time that you're almost feeling that like that trained sense of becoming tough again, being like like trying to shake something off instead of going deeper into it. For feminine, it's a little bit energetically easier because this is more of that pathwork of resistance now, that is the feminine feeling the security within oneself in the process. But both of these energies doing that work. One's just feeling a little bit more vulnerable within it. Continuing to get clarification between, but again, these are the energies within divine union that are supporting one another in the process of feeling that. Continuing to get clarification between our Justice card in its reversal in combination with our Two of Swords in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with our Six of Pentacles in its reversal. So masculine and feminine energy, one of the difficulties about this is that feeling of wanting to take a different approach, wanting to take a different tactic. This is I can see even now, like this is the energy that is doing something in a different way, and at the same time as doing it in a different way, basically saying to themselves, like, recognizing and identifying that there's a little bit of this work about like relinquishing or surrendering the energetic outcome because they don't know what to they don't know what to expect on the other side of it. But again, a lot of this energy is in that modality of basically saying that, like, again, when we move towards a manifestation goal, we relinquish the energetic outcome in the process. Like I just see this here. This is a lot of that energy that is kind of moving forward in such a way. And for feminine, it's more of that, it's more of that energetic recall. It's more of that pulling away. It's more of that sense of not feeling like that sense of having to be overly energetically delicate. Like this is a lot of that work of the feminine that's like being driven upon that sense of focus right now. Masculine, I see that masculine, this is more about being iconoclastic. This feels a little bit more difficult for masculine because it feels more like the masculine feeling like they're going against the tide, doing something in a way that makes them stand out because, again, and this is the masculine having that intuition that, sometimes all it takes is like one person to have that different, like, especially if this is masculine energy that's pushing against a group of other masculines around them that are in that modality. Sometimes all it takes is that one voice that has the courage and confidence to say something a different way that suddenly completely changes everything, right? Because that's that modality of not feeling that sense of having to go towards the consensus, but almost having that sense of being able to say something that everybody feels in a powerful way, but one just only has the courage to be able to bring forth. So we see even now, like, this is a lot of that energy in the masculine, not only doing it for themselves, feeling like they're doing it for the energy of the masculine around them right now that don't have the courage and confidence to do so. While for masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union right now, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to, I just see that a lot of this energy coming into divine union right now is requiring that sense of delicacy. It requires that sense of having to say to someone, something is happening within me and I don't know exactly what it is because I've never felt it before. But that ability of doing so together, and in that moment, they're saying, like, in that moment of saying that, this is creating the opportunity of someone saying, I feel it too. Right? And that's why we see even now, making sure that you're not just reacting to how you're feeling and making that point of confusion if someone's seeing the fact that you're changing and not understanding why, but almost being able to say, like, I understand that something about the way I am right now or something the way I'm acting It's not because of a lack of care. It's because of that hypersensitivity that I'm feeling right now. And it's hard to articulate because I'm trying to understand it. Like, that's the energy that, like, again, that becomes the substance through which to build a bridge, as opposed to something that someone is feeling like, what is in your hand? What are you holding? Being like, I don't know. Being like, like that is the joyful surprise of discovery, as opposed to the anxiety of uncertainty that can sometimes arise when we're feeling something, but we're just reacting to it instead of articulating through it. Well, for the energy right now in separation, this is a lot of energy right now that's fed up. I see a lot of energy right now. It's fed up. It's going, I'm done. I'm sick of it. I'm not doing it. I'm not even like, I even see energy right now going, should I go back and fix something? And being energy being like, what am I going to fix? I didn't do anything wrong. I can see the energy going, what am I going to fix? I didn't do anything wrong. And that's why we see even now, this is a feminine energy going, I'm not going to go back and apologize for something that I didn't do wrong, because this is a lot of the feminine energy that's moving forward and going, was I following my higher self? And the higher self's like, I'm on board with whatever you did, dude. That was fine. And like the energy of the feminine higher self being like, are we cool? Like, and that's the thing. The feminine's not looking towards the connections of counterpart and being like, I want us to be cool. This is the feminine looking at her higher self and being like, are we cool? And feminine being like, I'm totally cool. Keep walking that way. Masculine having that modality of saying, I want the energy that wants me. I want the energy that prioritizes the things that I want. I want the energy that desires the things that I want with conviction. And both of these energies right now are moving forward in separation. And they're basically like humming the same manifestation goal to one another, to themselves, going, I want the energy that wants to manifest what I want with conviction. I want the energy that wants what I want, that wants to manifest what I want with conviction. And these energies are like right about to bump into each other in the process of saying, and I'm sick and tired, and I'm not going to take anything else. Continuing to get clarification between our 7 of Wands in combination with our High Priestess. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with, look, accept no imitations. This is a process for a lot of the energy and separation of the refining of the manifestation goals. And when you start feeling picky, when something that used to compel you towards it, something that used to attract you, now deters you, something that wouldn't have bothered you before now looks too similar to something from the past, it haunts you. It's like, no, I felt that before. It felt too similar to that. This is a lot of that energy that is recognizing and saying, I think my frustration is me moving closer to my manifestation goal, because that is the part of my higher self saying, that's not it. You know what you're looking for now. You know what you're looking for. Accept no imitations. You'll know it when you see it. Like, this is the energy that feels like, again, and even amplifying and recognizing, having that moment of saying, I'm not moving the same way that I move. I'm not making the same moments of choices. Your guides want you to see that. Your manifestation goals are not supposed to be the prize pack at the bottom of a box of Cracker Jacks. They're supposed to be journeys that you take to find yourself in the process. So if this is energy that is saying, wow, I don't even think I need to find it. I don't even care if I found it. I've changed. I'm no longer that person. That manifestation goal has changed me. The moment that you come into that state of appreciation for how much the manifestation goal has changed you, like, that is the manifestation. Everything else, everything else is just the prize in the Cracker Jack box. But the actual manifestation is the moment of recognizing the journey of moving towards it that has changed you in the process. While for masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union right now, this is a lot of energy that's articulating about the changes that they're experiencing, entering and being in divine union. Because this is the energy that recognizes that being in a healthy partnership is not a static state. It's a space of continual expansion, continual growth, because you're in a relationship that allows you the ability to feel safe and comfortable to inhabit a state of being your most authentic self. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, deep within divine union, this is the energy going through some of that soul recall to a certain extent. Reconnecting to aspects or points of childhood. Masculine doing some in a way that feels like it's the embracing of the sense of play. Feminine building into that space of reconnecting to that energy of conviction. Both of these energies pushing their own envelope, but the real point of the pushing of the envelope is coming out of their comfort zone to find parts of themselves that weren't afraid of being uncomfortable to those around them. Continuing to get clarification between our High Priestess in combination with our Six of Pentacles in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now. Look at this. We got our other 6 card out here. We've got our 6 of Wands in its upright. So this is a lot of the energy right now that is deep within divine union, that is moving into that space of reclaiming something that they let go, because something about moving into the energetic act of adulthood made them feel like that sense of being liked instead of right. Like these are modalities where, again, if that required you to let something go and now you're picking back up because you're no longer seeking that sense of validation outside of the self, this is the energy that is feeling that sense of victory in relationality to that, because this is the energy that feels like they're embodying coming back into connection with their highest self via connecting to those parts of themselves that they felt like they had to hide in the process. While for masculine and feminine energy right now that is coming into divine union, this is the energy that, again, so long as they are articulating upon that breakthrough, as long as they're speaking towards one another from it, this is that beautiful gift and that ability to say, I am feeling something I've never felt before, and I'm afraid that it is creating some hypersensitivity about stuff that we need to discuss. But even here, that ability of doing so with delicacy and compassion, instead of just being reactive and creating that sense of anxiety in the partner who does not recognize what they are seeing. That is that moment that feels like it is the delightful surprise, as opposed to the anxious inducing uncertainty and saying, do I need to be worried? Is something happening? While for masculine and feminine energy and separation, I just see a lot of energy and separation coming through this very emotional full moon process, but feeling a lot of feelings about what may have just occurred, but being resolved in their choices in the process of feeling them. Because these aren't the energies that are just moving in the directionality of anything that they feel anything for. But this is the energy that is utilizing discernment in relationality to the emotionality of something and saying to themselves, I can feel a lot for someone, but that doesn't mean we have the same manifestation goals. I can desire someone more than I desire anything, but that doesn't mean the same thing as having the same manifestation goals. And so for a lot of this energy, recognizing that conviction, maintaining and keeping one's own focus on the manifestation goal as opposed to the adornments around it. This is a lot of the energy that's feeling like they're feeling that sense of personal conviction, because this is the energy that says, I see the changes that are arriving as I move into my manifestation goal expressed in the choices I am making. My manifestation goal is here. Final card for today's spread. We've got here 10 of Wands in its reversal. So I see even now, I see a lot of the energy right now in separation going, oh, I've arrived at my manifestation goal, because this is the energy. This is the energy that is recognizing and feeling the vitality of the choices being different, feeling those energetic choices and seeing the fact that you yourself have changed. This is a lot of the energy saying, I have arrived into the sense of self that is ready to recognize the energy of the manifestation goal. So we see even now, there's a lot of this energy right now that is, again, feeling that sense of walking away from something and recognizing as they do so and saying, I'm not walking away from something, I'm walking towards what's for me. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, coming into divine union, this is the energy that's like, I'm feeling comfortable, but don't get too comfortable, because now I'm changing because I can finally feel comfortable, right? So this is that act of reintroduction, but a lot of this is the introduction of the self in the person that you're becoming in a space where you feel like you're comfortable to be your most authentic sense of self. While for masculine and feminine energy right now that is deep within divine union, this is a lot of this work that we're identifying and recognizing, because this is the energy that's feeling that affirmation of saying to themselves, I'm not going to lose a part of myself in the process of trying to be who others aspire me to be. This is the energy saying the energy that I'm moving towards, the person that I aspire to be, doesn't require that sense of having to abandon myself in the process. Bottom of the deck on this reading right now, King of Swords in its upright. Now, this is having a different impact depending on where you are on the frequency cycles. Now, masculine energy, obviously one of the things that we're seeing right now is there's a lot of this energy of the masculine coming into that ability of really being able to express one's own emotionality. And a lot of the energy of the masculine right now, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to, is working on and working towards redefining that sense of what strength looks like in the process. There's a lot of this energy here that we're just recognizing that this is masculine energy that is reinterpolating what strength is. And if this is experiences where masculine took that template from some of the experiences of the past, this is the masculine energy that is remembering that stoicism is often misinterpreted. Stoicism is not the act of not feeling. That isn't strength. Stoicism, go read the Greeks. They had a lot of emotionality. Stoicism is the ability to feel everything, but not letting the expression or the emotionality of all of the expanse of one's emotions drive you away from one's own sense of conviction. It's not strong to disassociate. It's not strong to become numb. That's easy. What's strong is to allow oneself the intensity of feeling all the emotions in life, full in the face, and still being the person that you need to be in the process. That's how we move into our highest self. For feminine, this is the feminine that's working through that by, again, identifying and building forth in that sense of not allowing that sense of emotional compassion for others to drive them off their own sense of purpose. And that requires a certain level or degree of rigidity that often is seen as a negative to energy that feels like the feminine energy is being cold in the process of moving with conviction. But this is a lot of that feminine energy that's almost reaffirming their own conviction to the self by saying that the feminine energy's existence isn't for the sole pleasure of those that inhabit the space around them. So both of these energies deep within divine union, redefining what they were taught in a way that understands and helps them interpret it in a way that feels like it is correct, as opposed to something that feels like it is a departure from the sense of self in the process. While for masculine and feminine coming into divine union right now, a lot of that work that we see it as occurring right now for the energy coming into divine union has to do with that feeling of, again, the strength. Masculine is becoming more protective of the feminine in the process of moving towards them, which is some of the sensitivity that is coming forth right now. And that's why it's a little hard for the masculine to articulate this. For feminine recognizes this. Feminine feels that sense of it, but this is that modality that, again, the difference, and this is why, again, if masculine is able to be in a space where they can articulate that protectiveness instead of becoming energetically volatile, that is the difference of the feminine that feels the sense of strength and security from a masculine that feels stable because they're able to express upon their emotions instead of react to them. Because when the masculine is able to articulate how they feel instead of just reacting to what they feel, this is the feminine that feels truly safe in the process. So this is the same work that we see that is occurring for both of these energies. While for masculine, and masculine feels safe when masculine feels that feminine welcomes and encourages the masculine to articulate on their emotionality and doesn't find them failing in their masculinity in the process. While for masculine and feminine energy that is in separation, this is a lot of the energy that, again, it's that addition. This is literally the energy that's adding the word with conviction to their manifestation goal. This is literally a lot. I just keep seeing that there's a lot of energy right now that feels like they got very close to their manifestation goal, but that word conviction was missing. So I almost see someone like going back to their manifestation goal and then just writing on it like with conviction, and then just like slamming the book down and walking away from something, because that was the energetic missing piece to a certain extent. It doesn't require that sense of being like, begrudging or lackadaisical in relationality to the manifestation goal. It's like it needs to be done with conviction. That is our daily collective read for the day. I want to thank you so much for being here to experience it. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can book one on my website, graystrega.com. My private readings are done over video, and if you are a paid subscriber to if you are a paid subscriber here, you can take 10% off any of my services when you pay. Just mention your subscriber name at the point of payment. Please keep in mind that if you book a private reading with me, you can book one. Please keep in mind that booking a private reading is a two-step process. You have to book the reading, you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure that you do both if you would like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a private reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your inbox and tell you that I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way that you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my website. So I encourage you to do it there. Also, a couple of updates before we move into the personal readings today. First and foremost, the Hierophant class is now available on my Substack for my paid subscribers. If you could not attend our live class in person, the full video of that class is now available to my students as well as the course materials. If you would like access to the course materials and recordings thus far, all you need to do is become a paid subscriber to my Substack, graystrega.substack.com. Your paid subscription to my Substack will grant you access and entry to each month's live classes. You'll also have access to the full library of previous classes. That's over 6 hours worth of classwork right now if you head over and become a subscriber. So if you enroll now and you're just joining us, you've got ample opportunity to catch up. The next class that we will be holding will be on October 10th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern, and we will be focusing our studies on the Lover's card. I'm very excited to teach this class because it is now the second cycle of archetypes that we're now entering. Very excited to go into that shift and explain to you the differences between the cards we've seen thus far, now into the new cycle that we're approaching. I'll also, if you have any questions in relationality to anything that we've studied thus far, you'll have access to a one-on-one chat with me and the other students to ask any questions in relation to anything that we're learning. And if you become a founding member to my Substack, not only will you receive a discount on the full year's worth of classes, but you will also receive a complimentary one-on-one mentorship class with me, wherein we will assess where you are on your own personal tarot journey, and I'll give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes most effectively going forward. One of the things I tried to do in these classes was make them so that they would be accessible and informational to both the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone. So I want to thank you if you're already joining us there, and I look forward to potentially seeing you at our next class. But even if you don't become a paid subscriber to my Substack, I would encourage you to follow me there as a free follower to be able to get up-to-date information about my live events, my in-person events. I post my weekly newsletter there, which tells you my full live schedule and also lets you know about any of my in-person events. I also post up there photos and spreads of each day's readings as well as the podcast. And speaking of giveaways, we are now in the process of holding our September giveaway. If you would like to potentially win a free private tarot reading with me, all you need to do is head over to the link tree in my bio. There is a 2-minute travel survey there. Filling out that travel survey will grant you an entry into the giveaway. But if you would like to increase your chances of winning, go ahead and forward that survey to a friend. Because when I pull the winner, I will be giving away a free tarot reading, not only to the person who wins, but also to the person who referred them. So thank you if you've already entered, and I wish you the best of luck of winning this month. Finally, I want to let you know that on top of my standard life path readings, I now offer 2 additional services. Those are mentorship classes. My mentorship classes can be focused on any area of personal growth or spiritual development that you are interested in learning more about. I take a very limited number of students for this reason, as those classes are specialized for each individual student. They can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly class series, 4 45-minute classes, 1 per week over the span of a month. Also, for my clients seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I'm very happy to be offering weekly tarot insight packages, which is a discounted rate on 4 30-minute readings, one per week over the span of a month, so that you can stay more consistent on your own personal journey. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages, and we will do this again tomorrow.